In a small, peaceful town, people lived their daily lives quietly. The streets were calm, and neighbors greeted each other with warm smiles. Among them was a woman named Amina. She was known to be very calm and strong. Amina did not speak much, but when she did, people listened carefully. She had a way of looking at things that showed she understood much more than she let on. Some said she was mysterious because she kept her past hidden. No one really knew what she had gone through, but everyone respected her. Amina worked in a small shop in the town's market. She sold handmade jewelry and small crafts. Her shop was simple, but it was always tidy and welcoming. She smiled gently to customers and treated everyone kindly. Yet, behind her soft smile was a mind that was always thinking. Amina was careful, with her words and her actions. She had learned long ago that not everyone could be trusted, so she kept a distance from most people. But those who knew her closely said she had a kind heart. Not far from her shop was a large office building where a man named Kamran worked. Kamran was the opposite of Amina in many ways. He was open and friendly, always ready to help others. Kamran was known in the town for his honesty and fairness. He was a leader in his company and had a strong sense of justice. People came to him with their problems, and he tried his best to solve them. Kamran believed that doing the right thing was more important than anything else. One day, fate brought Amina and Kamran together in a way no one expected. The town was facing a big problem. A company wanted to buy some land where the market stood, including Amina's shop. The deal was complicated and would affect many families. Kamran was part of the team that was working on the sale. He wanted to make sure the deal was fair and that people were not hurt. Amina, on the other hand, was worried. She did not want to lose her shop or see the market change in a way that would harm the community. The tension grew as meetings were held to discuss the sale. Amina attended some of these meetings to voice the concerns of the small shop owners. Kamran was always polite to her, but he had a job to do. Both of them had strong views. Amina wanted to protect the market and its people, while Kamran wanted to follow the rules and help the company move forward. Sometimes they argued in the meetings, but they also listened to each other carefully. As days passed, Amina began to notice something different about Kamran. He did not speak just to win. He wanted to understand and find the truth. He asked questions that showed he cared about the people affected. Kamran noticed Amina too. He saw that she was brave and stood up for what she believed in. Even though they were on opposite sides, there was a strange respect growing between them. Despite this, Amina had a secret she kept hidden from everyone, including Kamran. She had faced many hard times before coming to this town. Some people had hurt her in the past, and she had learned to protect herself. Because of this, Amina did not trust easily. Her smile was often a mask to hide her pain and anger. Deep inside, she planned carefully how to keep her shop safe. She did not want to lose what little she had worked so hard for. One evening, after a long day of meetings and talks, Amina sat quietly in her shop. The sun was setting, and the warm light made the room glow softly. She looked at the small things she had made with her own hands, the beads, the stones, the tiny designs, and remembered why she loved this place so much. This shop was not just a business to her, it was a part of her life and her dreams. The same time, Kamran was at his office looking over papers and thinking deeply. He wanted to find a way to help both sides. He believed that if he worked hard, a solution could be found that would not hurt anyone. Kamran was tired but hopeful. He did not know yet how important Amina was going to be in this story. Neither of them could guess how much their paths would cross. Amina's calm smile and careful mind hid a fierce determination. Kamran's steady heart and strong spirit were ready for the challenges ahead. Together, in this quiet town, their story was about to begin. It was a story of trust and mistrust, of plans and surprises, and most of all, a story about two people, learning about strength in different ways. Amina watched Kamran carefully in the meetings. She noticed how he never raised his voice, even when things became difficult. She saw the kindness in his eyes, but also the firmness in his decisions. For the first time in a long while, she felt something new, curiosity mixed with caution. She wondered if this man could be different from the others who had caused her pain. Kamran, too, found himself thinking about Amina after their meetings. He admired her courage to speak up and the way she cared for her community. He was used to leading and solving problems, but Amina challenged him in ways he had not expected. She made him think more deeply about what was truly right. Even though they were working against each other, Kamran felt a connection he could not explain. The town watched quietly as these two strong people moved closer to a turning point. Their meetings were more than just talks about land and business. They were moments when two different worlds met. Each had their own reasons and fears, but also hopes for a better future. The days ahead promised to be full of surprises. As the sun disappeared behind the hills, Amina closed her shop for the night. She smiled softly to herself, but inside her mind was busy. She knew that this was just the beginning of something much bigger. She would have to be careful, patient, and strong. And Kamran, the man who stood so tall with his own kind of strength, was part of this story whether they liked it or not. In the quiet of that evening, both of them dreamed of what could be, a future where fairness and courage would meet. They did not know yet how much they would change each other's lives. But for now, in this small town, their meeting was a moment full of hope and quiet tension. After the first meetings and quiet moments of watching each other, Amina's thoughts turned deeper. She knew that the problem was bigger than just her little shop. The land sale could change the whole market and many families' lives. She felt a strong need to protect what mattered most to her. But she also knew she could not do it alone. The people in the town were afraid of losing their homes and work, and some were already thinking about leaving. This made Amina more determined to find a way to stop the sale or at least make sure everyone would be treated fairly. But inside Amina, there was another feeling too. She had spent many years learning how to stay strong and keep her distance from others. Past experiences had taught her to be careful and not trust easily. Some people had tried to hurt her before, and she had learned to protect herself by being quiet and watching. This time, she felt she needed to act. She started thinking of a plan, a careful and secret plan that could help her get through the difficult times ahead. Amina had heard about a rare and powerful poison. It was something not many people knew about, and it could be used without being noticed. She was not someone who wanted to hurt others, but she thought that maybe, just maybe, this poison could help her stop the people who were pushing the sale. She believed that if she could scare them or slow them down, the town might get a chance to save the market. The idea of using poison was not easy for her. She knew it was dangerous and could change everything forever. But her fear of losing everything made her consider it as a last option. Meanwhile, Kamran was working hard on the deal. He wanted to find a solution that would be fair for everyone. He knew that the company buying the land had plans for development, which could bring new jobs and money, but he also understood the worries of the small shop owners and families who had lived there for many years. Kamran believed that there was a way to help both sides, but it would require patience and trust. He spent hours talking to people, listening to their concerns and trying to find compromises. Kamran had a quiet strength that came from his belief in fairness and justice. He did not get angry easily, even when things became difficult. Instead, he remained calm and thoughtful. People admired this about him. They felt that he truly cared. But Kamran did not know about Amina's secret plan. He only saw her as a strong woman who was brave enough to speak up for her community. Little did he realize how deep her feelings ran and what she was willing to do to protect her world. As the days passed, Amina started to get closer to Kamran during meetings. She was careful not to show her true intentions. She smiled politely and kept her voice steady. But inside, she was always thinking about how to use her knowledge of the poison if it became necessary. She knew she had to be very cautious. One wrong move and everything could be lost. The poison was not something to be taken lightly. It was powerful and dangerous. One afternoon, during an important meeting in a large conference room, Amina sat close to Kamran. The room was full of people from both sides, all trying to reach an agreement. The air was tense, but quiet. Amina kept her smile soft and her eyes calm. She carried a small bottle in her bag, her secret weapon. She thought about the moment when she could use it, hoping it might give her an advantage in this difficult battle. Kamran spoke calmly and clearly, explaining the company's plans and the benefits they believed the development would bring. He listened carefully when Amina and others shared their worries. He asked questions that showed he wanted to understand. Amina noticed that his calmness was real. It was not just a mask. He truly cared about fairness. As the meeting ended, Amina felt a strange mix of emotions. She was still angry and afraid, but also a little confused. Kamran was not like the people who had hurt her before. He seemed honest and strong in a way she had not expected. This made her question her plan. Could there be another way? Could she trust him? That night, Amina sat in her small shop and thought deeply. She looked at the bottle of poison again. It was small and silent, but it carried great power. She wondered if using it would change everything, for better or worse. She thought about Kamran's kind eyes and steady voice. Was he the enemy, or could he be someone who wanted to help? The answer was not clear. At the same time, Kamran was at his office, looking at the papers from the meeting. He was tired but determined. He believed that if people could talk honestly and listen, they could find a way forward. Kamran did not want conflict or pain. He wanted peace and fairness. He did not know about the poison or Amina's secret thoughts, but he hoped that trust could grow between them. Days turned into weeks, and the tension in the town grew. The company wanted to move fast, but the people were not ready to give up. Amina worked harder to organize meetings with the shop owners. She shared her worries and encouraged them to speak up. She was careful not to reveal her secret plan, but she used her calm smile and quiet strength to lead the community. Kamran continued to meet with leaders and tried to find solutions. Sometimes he met with Amina privately. They talked honestly, sharing their fears and hopes. Kamran admired Amina's courage and honesty. Amina began to see Kamran as a man who truly cared about the people, not just the deal. Their relationship started to change, slowly and quietly. However, Amina never forgot the poison. It was always in the back of her mind. She knew that if things got worse, she might have to use it. But with every conversation, with every small act of kindness she saw in Kamran, her plan became harder to follow. She was caught between anger and hope. One evening, Amina walked through the market. The sun was setting, and the shops were closing. She saw the people she had grown to care about, families, friends, neighbors. She thought about what would happen if the market was lost. Her heart ached for them. At the same time, she thought about Kamran and the future he wanted to build. Could the two of them find a way to protect this place together? The choice was not easy. Amina knew that whatever she decided would change everything. She had to be strong, patient, and wise. The poison was still with her, silent and waiting. But maybe, just maybe, the true power was not in the poison itself, but in the courage to change and forgive. As the night grew darker, Amina smiled softly to herself. She was ready for whatever came next. She would watch, wait, and choose her path carefully. Kamran was standing firm too, ready to face the challenges ahead with fairness and hope. Their story was far from over. The battle for the market was just beginning, but the greatest fight was inside their own hearts. Between fear and trust, anger and kindness, they both had to find a way to stand strong and keep the light alive in the town they loved. The day came when Amina decided to act. The meeting was held in a big hall, full of important people. The air was thick with tension, and everyone knew that this meeting could decide the future of the market and the town. Amina sat quietly near Kamran. Her heart was beating fast, but her face showed only a calm smile. She held the small bottle with the poison carefully hidden in her bag. It was a secret she had kept for a long time, a secret that now seemed to hold the power to change everything. The meeting started with many voices speaking loudly about money, land, and plans for new buildings. Kamran listened carefully and spoke clearly about fairness and justice. He wanted the deal to be good for the company, but also fair for the people who lived in the town. People on both sides watched him closely. Amina watched too, thinking about the moment she had planned. When the time came to speak, Amina stood up. She spoke with a quiet but strong voice. She talked about the importance of the market, the people who worked there, and the life they had built. She reminded everyone that this was not just about land, but about the future of families and the heart of the town. Her words were honest and full of feeling. The room became silent as people listened. After her speech, Amina moved closer to Kamran. Her hand brushed lightly against his arm as she passed. It was a small movement, but it was the moment she had waited for. She quickly and carefully slipped the poison into his drink. No one noticed. Kamran continued talking and smiling, unaware of what had just happened. Amina sat back in her chair, her smile still gentle, but her mind racing. Minutes passed, and Kamran showed no sign of weakness. He stood tall and calm, continuing to speak with the same strength as before. Amina's surprise grew. The poison was supposed to affect him quickly, but he seemed completely unshaken. People around them started to whisper. Some wondered if the poison had worked at all. Amina watched Kamran closely. His face was steady, and his eyes were clear. He did not even seem tired. Her plan had failed, but she did not show it. She kept her calm smile and listened as Kamran spoke about finding solutions for the town. He talked about working together, building trust, and protecting the community. His words were full of hope and strength. Amina felt a strange feeling. Inside, confusion mixed with respect. This man was stronger than she had ever imagined. After the meeting ended, Amina left quietly. She went back to her shop and sat down, thinking deeply. The poison had not worked, but maybe that was not the most important thing. She wondered about Kamran's strength. How could he stand so firm and calm even after what she had done? She decided she needed to learn more. Over the next few days, Amina watched Kamran carefully. He continued his work as if nothing had happened. He met with people, listened to their stories, and tried to help. His strength was not just physical, she realized. It was something deeper, a strong heart, and a clear mind that could not be broken easily. Amina started to understand that Kamran's power came from years of hardship and discipline. She heard stories from people who knew him well. They told her about the difficult times he had faced growing up and how he had learned to stay strong through challenges. Kamran's calmness was not a mask. It was real. This new knowledge changed Amina's feelings. The anger she had felt began to fade. She saw Kamran in a new light, not as an enemy, but as someone who had his own battles and pain. She thought about her own life and the choices she had made. Maybe there was a way to find peace instead of conflict. One afternoon, Amina met Kamran alone in the market. She decided to speak honestly for the first time. She told him about her fears and her plan. Cameron listened without anger. Instead, he thanked her for being brave and honest. He told her that he understood why she had done what she did. Cameron said that trust was hard to build but very important. Their conversation was the start of something new. Amina and Cameron began to talk more openly. They shared their hopes and worries about the town and its future. Slowly, a bond of trust started to grow between them. They learned that strength was not about fighting or hurting others, but about understanding and helping. As time passed, Amina felt her smile change. It became warmer and more real. She still cared deeply about the market and the people, but she also cared about Cameron. He had shown her that even when things seemed dark, there is always a way to stand strong and keep going. Their story was no longer about poison and fear. It was about courage, forgiveness, and the power of kindness. Together they worked to protect the town and its people, showing everyone that true strength comes from the heart. After the surprising event at the meeting, Amina kept watching Cameron with great interest. She wanted to understand how he could stay so calm and strong. She spent many days asking people who knew him well about his past. Each story she heard gave her a little more insight into the man she had tried to harm but who had not fallen. Cameron's life had not been easy. When he was young, he had faced many difficulties. His family was poor, and he had to work hard from a young age. Despite the struggles, Cameron never gave up. He learned how to be patient and strong, even when things were tough. His mother had taught him that true strength comes from inside, and no one can take that away unless he allows it. Cameron believed in this lesson deeply, and it shaped the man he was today. Amina started to see Cameron not just as a man working for the company, but as someone with a kind heart and a brave spirit. She remembered how he listened to her and others during the meetings. He didn't just talk about business. He talked about people, their dreams, and their fears. This was something rare in the world of deals and land sales. One day, Amina decided to visit Cameron's office without an appointment. She wanted to speak to him honestly and directly. When Cameron saw her, he was surprised, but welcomed her with a smile. They sat down in his office, and Amina took a deep breath. "I want to tell you the truth," she said softly. "I tried to hurt you with poison. I thought it was the only way to protect my shop and the market. But you didn't fall. I don't understand how you stayed so strong." Cameron looked at her calmly. "I won't lie," he said. "It was dangerous, and it scared me when I found out. But I believe that no poison can harm a person who has strong faith in himself and his values. I have been through hard times, and I learned to stand firm no matter what. I forgive you because I believe people can change." Amina was surprised by his words. She had expected anger or fear, but all she saw was kindness and forgiveness. This made her heart feel lighter. She realized that Cameron was not just strong physically, but also in spirit. She felt a new respect growing inside her. Their conversation lasted for hours. They talked about their lives, their dreams, and the future of the town. Cameron shared his hopes for a place where everyone could live and work in peace. Amina shared her fears and her love for the market and the people who depended on it. For the first time, they were not opponents, but two people trying to find a way together. After that day, Amina and Cameron began to work closely. They organized meetings with shop owners, community leaders, and company representatives. Together, they looked for ways to protect the market and help the town grow. They listened to everyone's opinions and tried to find solutions that would benefit all. Amina's calm smile became a symbol of hope in the community. People saw that she was not just fighting alone, but was part of a bigger effort for good. Cameron's steady leadership gave people confidence that their voices mattered. The bond between Amina and Cameron grew stronger. They shared many moments of laughter and thoughtful talks. Their differences became a source of strength rather than conflict. They learned that working together was better than fighting against each other. One afternoon, as they walked through the market, Amina looked around at the busy stalls and smiling faces. She felt proud of what they were building. Kamran stood beside her, speaking softly about new ideas to help the small businesses grow. The sun shone warmly on them, and for a moment, the worries of the past seemed far away. But even with their progress, challenges remained. Some people still did not trust the company or the changes. There were fears about what the future might bring. Amina and Kamran knew they had to keep working hard, listening, and showing kindness. They continued to meet with the community every week. Amina encouraged people to speak openly, and Kamran promised to fight for fairness. Slowly, the walls of fear and suspicion began to break down. The market started to feel like a place of new beginnings. One evening, Amina sat alone in her shop, thinking about everything that had happened. She remembered the poison she had carried and the plan she had almost followed. Now that plan seemed like a distant memory. She understood that true power was not in causing harm, but in building trust and hope. Her smile that night was different. It was warm and peaceful, filled with the promise of a better tomorrow. She knew the road ahead would not be easy, but she was ready. Together with Kamran and the people she cared about, she would face whatever came with courage and kindness. Their story was no longer about poison and danger. It was about the strength to forgive, the courage to change, and the power of working together. Amina and Kamran had found something precious, a friendship that could help heal their town and their hearts. As the stars shone above the quiet town, Amina closed her eyes and smiled. She had learned that even the darkest moments could lead to light if people chose to stand strong and believe in each other. After many weeks of hard work, the town began to feel a new sense of hope. The fear and anger that once filled the market were slowly fading. People started to believe that change could bring good things, not just problems. Amina and Kamran continued to work together every day. Their friendship had grown stronger, and they shared a common goal: to protect the community and build a better future. Amina no longer felt the need to carry secrets or plans of harm. She realized that trust and kindness were much more powerful than any poison. Her smile was genuine now, full of warmth and hope. She felt happy when she saw families walking through the market, children playing, and shop owners helping each other. This was the place she loved, and she knew it could thrive with care and patience. Kamran worked hard to make promises and keep them. He spoke with the company leaders and made sure they listened to the people. He believed that fairness was the key to peace. When disagreements happened, Kamran and Amina would meet with the community to find solutions. They showed everyone that problems could be solved with respect and teamwork. One day, the town held a special event in the market square. It was a celebration of the progress they had made together. People came from all around, bringing food, music, and stories. Amina and Kamran stood side by side, smiling as they watched the joy around them. The market was alive again, full of laughter and life. During the celebration, Amina spoke to the crowd. She told them how important it was to stand together and support each other. She shared her own story about the fear and anger she once had, and how she found strength in forgiveness and hope. The people listened quietly, inspired by her honesty and courage. Kamran also spoke. He thanked everyone for trusting him and promised to keep working for fairness. He said that the future belonged to all of them, and that together they could overcome any challenge. His words touched many hearts, and the crowd cheered loudly. After the event, Amina and Kamran walked through the market. The sun was setting, casting a golden light over the stalls. They talked about their journey, the hardships they had faced, and the lessons they had learned. Both knew that there would still be challenges ahead, but they were ready to face them. Their story was now one of hope, friendship, and the power of human kindness. They had shown that even when people start as enemies, they can become partners in building something better. Amina's smile, once a mask for pain and anger, was now a symbol of peace and strength. The town continued to grow and improve. New shops opened and old ones flourished. Families stayed and built their lives with confidence. Amina and Kamran stayed close, working side by side to protect the community they loved. In the quiet moments, Amina often thought about the poison she had once carried. It was a reminder of the past, but also a sign of how far she had come. She knew that true power was not in harm or fear, but in love, trust, and the courage to change. As the stars shone brightly over the town, Amina smiled softly, knowing that the future was bright. She had learned that even the darkest times could lead to light if people chose to believe in kindness and stand strong together.